Starting over. Okay, welcome to my first topic video. My New 52, my thoughts. I am your host, Nick Lenz. Okay, my opinion on stuff because we're going to 52 so far. Batman, I'm happy with the fact that 4 stories are pretty much in canon. Now, I'll list them off again because this is somehow messed up there. Stories are, list off again, Year 1, Nightfall, Contagion, and Batman the Killing Joke. Those 4 are the only 4 stories I can think of that are still very much in canon. Now, they kind of are mixing in Year 1 with the current 0 year, which I don't have much of a problem with it. Though it's kind of unnecessary to have an origin story, but I'm happy with the fact that Scott Snyder decided to wait 2 years after the start of the DC relaunch to do this. Because changing his origin story at the start would be very stupid for them to do. But it's okay with me. I kind of didn't like the fact they changed the Robins. I mean, really. 4 Robins in 5 years? How stupid can you be, DC Comics? As for the costume changes, well, Batman's is pretty much like the Batman Incorporated costume, just change the symbol up from the Batman Incorporated logo to the traditional Batman, like, bat symbol across his chest. Nightwing's costume just changed the blue to red and made his mask basically like black and has technology in it, which kind of gives in-store explanation of why the eyes are colored out. Excuse me. As for the other costumes in New 52, Superman's costume, I'm glad of the fact they kept the colors in his costume, pretty much the red and the blue. Well, they say his costume is Kryptonian armor, and despite the fact I'm not really a big fan of Superman that very much, I was kind of a fan of his marriage to Lois Lane. I thought it was a really good move by DC Comics back in the 90s, so I think I wasn't reading it back then. But retconning it was completely stupid. I'm looking at you, Dan Didio, if you ever get a chance to watch this. Yeah, Dan Didio was an idiot saying that superheroes can't be married. There's no good stories. That's because you can't write any good stories, you jerk. As for the other costumes, well, Green Lantern's is altered very little with the exception of that stupid collar. I mean, really, Jim Lee, do you really have to draw that freaking collar on there? I mean, you do the same thing with Aquaman. I mean, his costume has changed barely. I mean, the only change they made to his costume, they made that stupid collar on there. It's not necessary to have the collar there. Hey, come on. For years, did Superman or any of these characters with these stupid-looking collars ever had problem people attacking their necks? No, because nobody was actually drawn attacking their necks. So as for drawing those stupid collars, Jim Lee, that was freaking stupid. As for introducing the Wildstorm characters to this universe, make it more overcrowded than it already is, was completely stupid. The Wildstorm universe, if DC Comics just left it alone and stopped rebooting it every few years, maybe people will actually continue liking Wildstorm. Here's what you do, you will solve the problem. With the exception of one character. You take all your Wildstorm characters, start up the original Wildstorm universe. You restart that, have it separate from the current DC universe. Have it sort of like its own Earth. I don't care what you call it. Call it Earth 4 for all I care. Okay? Just take your Wildstorm characters, that's where every anchor is movement. You take those characters, put them on that Earth, and do whatever with them there. Retcon every single appearance that they have made in the New 52. Take every appearance they made out of there. And take Lobo off the Stormwatch. He has no business being there. Just like how Martian Manhunter had no business being on Stormwatch. I have no problem with him being on the JLA, which is a good move by DC Comics to do. And I'm glad the fact they decided to take him off the title. But here's my opinion about John Jones leaving the title. John Jones, having him in the title, pretty much people drew interest in the title. Once he left the title, I think the title should have been canceled right after he got left. But no, you decided to continue it for another 19 issues. You continue it up into issue 30, and you're finally ending it there. Okay, I'm happy with the fact you're ending it, but you should have ended this last year right after John Jones left the title, because I think pretty much people stopped losing interest in the title. I mean, putting Lobo on the title would not draw interest in the title. It will just continue drawing your comic down. As for having Grifter in New 52, I read the comic. It was okay. Despite the fact that at the time of its cancellation, it was already one of DC's lowest selling titles. I mean, yes, he's there, and he's hiding from these so-called Demon Knights, these stupid-looking aliens, who, from what I've heard, are enemies of Mr. Majestic, who is supposed to be Wildstorm's version of Superman, but a lot more of a jerk about it. And where's Mr. Majestic showing up in DC relaunch? Let me think. He's shown up in Team 7. Very good title, by the way. I liked it. And I think he may have shown up for the Ravagers, but that's it. I've never read all the issues of Ravagers yet. As for canceling these titles too soon, like Team 7, great title. Espionage. I like this stuff. I got a chance to finally read it. Good title. As for Sword of Sorcery, starring Amethyst and having Beowulf, I read the Amethyst Showcase Presents book before I read this. This was actually okay. Too bad you decided to can it after just 7 issues and issue 0. GI Combat, pretty much the same thing. I'm quite happy the fact the other soldier was introduced to that comic. Though if I were you, I would have promoted that comic a lot more. If you promoted the comic a lot more, then you would have canned it. As for the Green Team, I have no problem with the fact they're canceling that one. Because, from what I can tell, I don't think anybody in the comic community has actually even heard of the Green Team prior to the start of this ongoing series. Because you have them in a one-shot that came back in the 70s, and you bring them back in modern day. And you cancel their title after 8 issues. I don't have much of a problem with them canceling this title. Because, for one thing, nobody's interested in this title. The same thing for Dial H when it was being published. I read the issues, they were kind of okay. But as for the series itself, it wasn't that interesting. Oh, come on!